Why hello there and welcome to this video. My name is Leah. I'm a new progressive YouTuber and I have recently started doing a Wednesday and Saturday show where I talk about politics, the big stories, whatever's trending, all from a progressive point of view so I can use my political energy for good. This is my third segment today, my segment 3 out of 3. So if you have watched the other two segments, thank you. I appreciate you very much. But if you clicked on the title and saw the thumbnail, then you probably know what we're talking about. We are talking about the Olympics and the drama that has unfolded during the women's boxing event. So the first thing I want to do is kind of go over the story and the details of it in general, because I'm not sure everyone watching has been following it. The Olympic women's boxing drama explained. The controversy began with a 46-second match. I'm just going to preface the story right off the bat by saying I have not listened to anyone else talk about this story, and so I actually do not know how to pronounce these names, and I am going to do my best. What's going on with Olympic women's boxing, you may ask? Who is Amain Khalif and who is Angela Carini? And how exactly is J.K. Rowling involved? Let us explain. Khalif, 25, is a boxer from Algeria who competed in her first Olympics in 2020 in Tokyo. She was assigned female at birth and is labeled female on her passport, but she was disqualified from the World Championships in 2023 by the International Boxing Association, who cited high levels of testosterone in her system, per the Associated Press. However, the International Olympic Committee has stated that the IBA's decision was arbitrary. Who is Angela Carini? Carini is an Italian female boxer, also 25, and was Khalif's opponent during a match at the 2024 Olympics. What happened at the Olympics? Carini withdrew from the match after a single punch from Khalif. Their match lasted just 46 seconds. I went to the ring to honor my father. I was told a lot of times that I was a warrior, but I preferred to stop for my health. I've never felt a punch like this, Carini told reporters after the match. So where does the controversy come in? J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk are two people who implied that the Olympic women's boxing match was unfair, claiming that Khalif is a biological male. The basis for claims like these appear to be the IBA's 2023 decision to bar Khalif from the World Championships. The IOC has reaffirmed that Khalif was assigned female at birth and stated, per NPR, the current aggression against these two athletes is based entirely on this arbitrary decision by the IBA, which was taken without any proper procedure, especially considering that these young athletes have been competing in top-level competition for many years. So on the left here, we have Amain Khalif, and on the right, we have Angela Carini. So essentially, the story here is that one boxer was incredibly strong, and the other one decided that for the sake of her health, she was going to withdraw from the match because she knew that she was going to lose. But as this story unfolded, the tweets that we were seeing from people are genuinely unhinged. Okay, so here are some tweets from J.K. Rowling. A young female boxer has just had everything she's worked and trained for snatched away because you allowed a male to get in the ring with her. You're a disgrace. Your safeguarding is a joke, and Paris 24 will be forever tarnished by the brutal injustice done to Carini. Could any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male whose knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head, and whose life's ambition he's just shattered. So here is something that Elon Musk reposted. It got 2.9 million views. The original post said, "It happened again. Biological males are being allowed in women's sport, in boxing at the Olympics, and it is grossly unfair and unsafe. The athletes in question from Algeria and Taiwan," we didn't talk about the Taiwan girl, but "are male. They have XY chromosomes, no uterus, male testes, male puberty." So then we have the top part of the tweet that says, "I'm a benefit of the doubt and always assume good faith guy. However, we are being asked, A, to not believe what we see with our eyes, B, to not believe the women when they tell us that they took the hardest punches they ever felt. C, to not believe multiple tests around XY and testosterone. D, to trust the historically corrupt Olympic organization. This is a deadly serious situation as minimum. It's also profoundly unfair that we are even considering letting males or significantly physically advantaged individuals demolish their female counterparts. Let's just be completely honest and compassionate about what is happening here and drop all the identity politics." Okay, so I have a lot to say about this. If you're not aware, I am transgender, and in my opinion, this story really highlights what is so wrong with the reactionary right-wing movement. To put it simply, these people made a lot of assumptions and jumped to conclusions way before they had any evidence to support their conclusions. Like, I'd be willing to bet that a lot of these reactionary right-wing individuals are probably watching the Olympics, like investigating every single woman that goes up there to compete. Because to them, it's like a blood sport. They are simply just hunting for their next victim of the culture war. Maybe you're aware of this, maybe you're not aware of this, but right-wingers love to do this thing called transvestigation, where essentially they look at cis people and they try to like determine whether this person might be trans. The people that fall into this kind of thinking are usually of the opinion that you can like literally always tell when someone is a transgender individual, that you can just take one look at them and you can be like, yep, that's a trans individual. But in actuality, all these people are doing are pointing to gender nonconforming traits, which every single person on the face of this earth has, and they're trying to use those as an excuse or reasoning to argue that a person is like deceiving the public, or that they're a transgender person and somehow for some reason that's apparently bad. Now, I definitely don't think that there's anything wrong with being trans, but I do think that transvestigating individuals is a harmful tactic. Oftentimes, the people that do this transvestigation kind of stuff will ignore public records. They'll just say that the government is lying. They'll say that the individual is lying. And they'll spin a narrative that has nothing to do with public records and has a lot to do with some weird pictures that they found of the individual with some gender nonconforming traits. A lot of people that are transphobic tend to think that sex is an incredibly binary, simple thing, like fifth grade biology level kind of stuff. They tend to think that the sexual categories of male and female are incredibly clear cut and that there are no crossovers. They're like mutually exclusive categories. This is like so incredibly far from the truth. And like the reason why people think this is because it's just the simple version that they were initially taught when they were young, and they never bothered to deepen their understanding. There's this thing in psychology called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it's essentially that like when people know very little about a topic, they tend to feel extremely confident about their knowledge. Like if you don't know very much about baseball, but you kind of have seen a few baseball games and you kind of know how the game works, you might feel extremely confident that you know the ins and outs of baseball. But when you start talking to a baseball fan, someone who's been watching the sport for years and analyzing teams and talking about numbers, you may realize very quickly that you actually don't really understand very much at all about the sport. So honestly, a lot of these people doing this transphobic stuff are pretty unaware of the complexities of biology and how like their simple fifth grade understanding of sex is not like the total reality of everything. I don't have time to get into it right now, but if you look it up, you can see that the way that we categorize sex is more of a way of taking something that's extremely messy and trying to clean it up a little bit to make it easy to understand for our minds. And it's just a way of categorizing things. But yeah, what's really sad about this story is that like the people who jumped to all these conclusions and made these assumptions kind of just made an ass out of themselves, because this is a woman. Like this person they're talking about is not biologically male. She was born female. She lives as a woman. She is a woman. And what's absolutely wild about it is that I doubt a single one of these individuals is going to come forward and apologize. As a matter of fact, if we jump back to this tweet, you might notice that this tweet came out after the initial story had broken. So like there had already been confirmation that this boxer was not biologically male. But we have this line here. It's also profoundly unfair that we are even considering letting males or significantly physically advantaged individuals demolish their female counterparts. But like literally the entire reason that they put this "or" statement right here is just so that if anyone comes forward and is like, this is a woman who has like more testosterone in her system than other women, then the transphobes can just point to the statement and be like, actually we said "or significantly physically advantaged individuals." Like, okay, you can include that little clause there, but that doesn't mean that you haven't insinuated over and over and over that this woman is a man. But yeah, the brain rot is real. It is absolutely crazy how brain rotted these individuals are, how reactionary they are. Like they really probably don't even care that they just got this whole story completely wrong and trashed the reputation of a boxer who otherwise did an incredible job. Like she walked into that ring and dominated that match in under a minute. The good news is that normies, or people that are looking at this in good faith, are going to see that these people are incredibly reactionary. Like they might initially think that this reporting about this boxer being a quote unquote biological male is correct, but then they're going to look into it further and see that these people are just wrong. Like they're literally just posting lies to their Twitter feeds. And they're doing this all to just push a narrative regardless of the truth. And I think for normies, that's a big turnoff. It kind of makes you look weird and cringe, and it just makes you look like you don't care about the facts. But yeah, that's all I got to say about this topic. I could go on and on about this for a long time, but really, I think that this story speaks for itself. It really just goes to show that like these people are incredibly reactionary. They don't care about the fact, and they're willing to lie in front of millions of people just to try to like virtue signal during a culture war. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and also leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this story. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I'm trying to push my way to my first 100 subscribers, and it would mean a lot if you subscribed and helped me get there. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed so far. We're 1/3 of the way there, which is really exciting to me. I'm actually really happy to see that, and I hope that we continue to grow as time goes on. This is going to wrap up my show today. As I mentioned, I think in the first segment, I'm going to be working on trans lifestyle content. I want to make content that allows me to be visible as a transgender individual and allows me to like try to do some representation and stuff like that. On top of living the transgender experience, I have a degree in philosophy, and I have also done a lot of research into like the philosophy of identity, the psychology of identity, that kind of stuff. So that is something that I'm super interested in making content on and talking about. If you're interested in seeing trans lifestyle content, let me know down below like what you would like to see from me, like what kind of content you would be interested in seeing from a trans content creator. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you checking out my show today. If you want to check out my other 2 segments, that would mean a lot to me. And yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday with another show. And before I get out of here, I just have one little favor to ask of you, and that is for you to drink some water.